Hi everybody, Becky from Bambinos and Me. This little video is just about self-care for mums. So self-care is probably one of those subjects that you either love or hate, because you might be really interested in lots of different ideas for self-care, or you might find it a little bit frustrating when people talk about self-care a lot because you actually haven't got much time on your hands and you have this little bundle who requires all your love and all your energy. So you probably haven't got much time to be thinking about self-care. So my aim is to just give you a few little tips on things that you can do for yourself. Now, when we talk about self-care, we're really looking at things that can support the body, the heart and the head. So that's going to mean something different to everybody. And it's just very much about thinking, well, I don't have much time at the moment, but I probably need it more than ever, particularly when you become a new mum. So I'm just going to talk to you about a few little suggestions. These are my personal suggestions or things that I've come across in my training. So it's just a few little ideas, and some of the things that I'm going to show you I don't receive commission from. These are just my personal likes, things that help me. So as you can see here, I've got some flowers. So that's one of my my self-care things, if you like. I love just having fresh flowers in the house and it really boosts me. And also just making sure that I've got things that I like around the house. So for me, that means nice candles, it means nice crystals, it might mean nice art. So things that you find visually pleasing can really boost your spirits. So just looking at things that you might have around the house, things that it might be just a plant or a special picture, places, and put them in places where you look a lot, because it can almost give you just a bit of a boost sometimes. So you've probably heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. And another example is when you're on an aeroplane, the adult puts oxygen on before they put it on the child. And that's very much what we need to be thinking about, is that you can't keep looking after people and putting other people first, because you actually need to start looking at putting yourself first. And that isn't selfish at all. That is just called self-care and self-preservation. So one of the things I find quite handy is journaling. And that is just writing down my thoughts, particularly when I was a new mum, just writing down my thoughts, my feelings, particularly if you're having negative feelings and low mood. It's quite helpful to actually put things down to paper and then come back and read them at another time. And sometimes having it written down in front of you puts things into perspective and helps you actually work out what you can do about that problem. So that's something that I found quite helpful. Another thing is looking into mindfulness, which I'm sure you've probably heard about, as it seems to be everywhere. But if you haven't, mindfulness is looking very much about the present, the here and the now. And there's so many different ways that we can practice mindfulness. One particular way I like to do practice mindfulness, and with my girls as well, is taking a walk somewhere in nature and looking for 5 things. So one thing I can see, one thing I can hear, one thing I can smell, one thing I can feel, and not necessarily this one in nature, but what can you taste? So that way I just bring myself to the present moment, and it's just very much about calming yourself down, not thinking about something that's happened or something that's going to happen, you're just stopping and you're just in the present, in the current moment. So that might be something that you might want to look into, and there's loads of different tips all over the internet and books and everything if you want to look into that further. Another tip of self-care is learning the word no, because I think sometimes we have this thing that we have to prove to everybody that as a new mum, we can do it all. We can have a new baby, we can have a career, we can do it all. And actually there comes a point where you just have to say the word no, and you can't do it, and that's okay, and that's what we need to acknowledge as well. Another good way of self-care sounds silly, but tidying up and decluttering, because sometimes that can just bring like a breath of fresh air, if you like, looking at your home and just seeing all the beauty, rather than it just having everything too much in one go. I particularly like yoga. I don't teach adult yoga, but so if it's something that you'd like to get into, I can just pop me a message, and I can recommend lots of different yoga teachers in the local area. Or if you're not local, then online. So one of my go-to things is looking at my breathing. So if I'm feeling a bit stressed, upset, frustrated, then having a practice of different breathing techniques is one that definitely helps me. So you've probably seen in my other classes, we talk about belly breathing. So that's a really good one to keep practicing. Another one is 3-3-3, where we breathe in for 3, we hold for 3, and then we breathe out for 3. And then you slowly, gradually build that up. So what you're aiming to get is what we call 7-11. So you breathe in for 7, and then you breathe out for 11. Another nice one that I find really relaxes me is doing a body scan. So just having a lie down, and just, it's all about acknowledging how your body is feeling at that present time. So you squeeze your feet. We always start with the feet. We squeeze our feet and then release, and then you just slowly work up your body, making sure that you're doing everything, your face, your tongue, just making sure that you're squeezing and then releasing, but also acknowledging how that part of your body is feeling at that moment in time. So I find that really helpful, particularly if I am in a car, obviously not driving, or if I'm struggling to get to sleep. That's quite a nice one to do. Music is great. Sometimes when my girls and hubby are out, I just put on my music, and it doesn't matter if anyone likes it or not. It's just what I like. Cheesy, the better. But positive, uplifting songs as well. Manicures, just doing little treats, having your favourite, shouldn't be advertising that, your favourite hand lotion, body lotions, anything like that, new little candle. It's not about expensive things, it's about what you find joy. So it might be having a cup of tea in your favourite mug, just making sure that all those little things are always around for you, just to boost you up. One thing that I enjoyed doing was a vision board. You can see that. So that is very much about what I want to achieve. You might include what you have achieved. It could be dreams, little things that you want to do around your house. And I think particularly when you've had a new baby, it's a really nice relaxing activity to do. So you get all your magazines, and you cut out little pictures and affirmations. You might have a glass of wine or a cup of tea. And it's a really calming activity to do. And I think also when you have had a new baby, it's actually a reminder of you as a mum, but you as a woman. So it's just, it's almost, it does boost you because it suddenly gives you all these ideas on things that you perhaps you haven't done, but one way or another, you will try and do them. But you might find that those things change. And so before you had children, your dreams may be something completely different. And it's just jotting that down, and just looking at things, like I put mine inside my wardrobe so I could look at it every day. And it's just little affirmations as well. It doesn't have to be your dreams. It can just be anything positive to perk you up. What else am I going to mention? One thing for me that helps me if I'm not feeling on top form is actually looking at kindness and gratitude, because I've actually got these little cards. These are from Quest in Epsom. Kindness can change a life forever. And when you practice kindness, it actually boosts your mood, excuse me, as well. Sorry, I'm going to have some on my tea. Apologies about that. And the same with gratitude. When you're looking at, oh, I do beg your pardon. When you're looking at all the positive things that you have in your life, that again can boost your mood. And it's very much about looking at what you do have rather than what you don't have. Because I think far often as mums, we do put ourselves down a bit, and actually we need to start looking at what have I achieved rather than what I haven't. Okay, so sleep is quite a hot topic with new mums. I think for my first baby, I had this thing where I had to make sure the place was perfect. So instead of resting when she rested, I had to make sure her baby grows were washed. And then when I had my second, I can't rest now because I've got the older one. So any opportunity, please rest. It doesn't mean sleeping if you can't nap in the day. Just listen to your body. And drinking lots of water. One of my favourite magazines, this is what I get personally, is Positive Wellbeing for Mums. And this is a beautiful magazine full of little articles, but full of lots of affirmations, such as be kind. And there's another little one which I think is just lovely. And this is from Isabella and me. So Isabella and us. So you'll find her on the Facebook. So one of the biggest things that we can probably do for ourselves is actually to have cuddles. Because if you've done my baby massage, then you'll know about the power of touch. And when we cuddle and we have touch, we're releasing a hormone called oxytocin, and that is known as a love drug. So that can support with bonding, it can support with love and mothering, and it's a really great feel-good hormone. So just grabbing a cuddle, filling up that cuddle cup whenever you can is probably one of the greatest things you can do. And that might mean with your baby, or it might mean with an adult, your partner or your friend. So that is one thing I would definitely advise. So I hope that has helped. If you want to find out any more about yoga, I also didn't mention it, but meditation or crystal healing, do pop me a message because I can put you in touch with local professionals who will be able to guide you on that journey. And I hope that has helped. And the other thing to mention is that, as well as Bambinos and Me, I also have a Facebook page called The Happy Hub with Bambinos and Me. And that is purely for positive affirmations that we post. Just nice messages to each other. Getting away from any negativity that you might see on Facebook, in the news. Sometimes that can bring us down. So there's just lots of nice positive affirmations and ideas on there to help you with self-care and happiness. Like I said, if you have any questions or queries, just pop me a message, and I hope you will get practicing some of these self-care techniques soon. Okay, take care. Bye.